Hello and welcome to Turning Point, a special on World Cup 2015. Today we're coming to you live from Perth, right outside the WACA Stadium, the fastest pitch in the world, a nightmare for most batsmen, but not for the batsmen that are joining me on the show this evening because they defied logic. The man next to me, Sunil Gavaskar, got 100 in the only test match that he played here. Brian Lara joins us live from Sydney. He averages close to 80 runs in ODI cricket at this very ground. And the man joining us live from Hyderabad, VVS Laxman. Forget about WACA, he just loved playing here in Australia, getting 7 out of his 23 centuries down under right here. Alright, lots to talk to them about, but before that, let's talk about an incident that happened during India's practice on Tuesday. We'll show you those visuals. These are visuals of the test skipper of the Indian team, Virat Kohli, hurling abuses at one of the journalists. As it turned out later, it was a case of mistaken identity. He was actually wanting to target a journalist that had written a piece about him and his alleged girlfriend Anushka Sharma during the England tour, and he was very upset about it, which is why he did take out his anger on that particular journalist. Later, as I mentioned, it was a case of mistaken identity. He did send a message across to another journalist, to the concerned journalist, that he didn't intend to abuse him the way he did. Alright, Sunil Gavaskar, VVS Laxman, Brian Lara with us. Sunny bhai, to you, and this is the question that any fan would want to ask at the moment. Is it unbecoming of a test captain to behave like this in a public space?
Well, look, I think there are pressures. The pressures that cricketers, and particularly cricketers who are expected to do well, and Virat Kohli is one of those who's expected to succeed every single game. The pressures on players like that is something that nobody will really understand. And therefore what happens is, if they feel that there has been something which has upset their concentration, upset their focus, hasn't really helped them, then it can happen that you lose your cool and you say something which, like Virat has gone and said that he's I think sent his apologies to the concerned journalist, that it wasn't him that he meant. But now that you've told me that he has been doing that, I think what I need to do is, when I see him at breakfast tomorrow, I am going to also tell me what are the words he used, because I'm going to use
some of them I can't use.
Okay, I'm going to use the same words, because for the last 1 week I've been asking Virat for his clippers to get my hair cut, and he's been making excuse after excuse. He's been laughing it off. He's been making excuse after excuse. He's saying no, the batteries are not there, this is not there, and all I want is to save precious foreign exchange and do it by myself. And Virat Kohli, the Indian captain, is not obliging a former Indian captain, so I have a very good excuse to let fly at him tomorrow at breakfast.
All right, that would we'd say some kind of give back to him from media side.
No, not from the media side. This has got nothing to do with the media.
Okay, I'll go across to VVS Laxman. VVS, to you, and the same question that I asked Sunny bhai. Virat is a great batsman, no questions about his talent. He's performed exceedingly well for India. But then again, you would know, you represented India. You also brand ambassadors of the country. To do something as he did in public space, and this is not any kind of speculation. I was there personally present at that practice session. Do you think it was unbecoming of a test captain to do that?
Yes, absolutely. Now that you have told Nikhil that you were there at practice session, because yesterday I saw in the media in India saying that the journalists were very upset, and this is what the journalist version was, that Virat Kohli actually abused him. And today I saw another news release saying that the team management actually told that Virat Kohli didn't do that. So now that you're there, I'm getting an information from someone like you was there at the venue when this happened, then it is not right on Virat Kohli's part. Irrespective of whatever has happened, whether it's right or wrong from the journalist point of view, but I think it's important to do that in closed doors, but not in the public domain or in public space, because Virat Kohli has to remember that he's a role model, and people will be watching him, people will be following him, people want to emulate him. So it's very important to keep his emotions under control, and especially now that he's the captain of the Indian Test team, it's very important for him to really take notice of what he's doing in public space, because he's a role model, and especially during a World Cup, and also I think I request the media fraternity not to blow this story out of proportion, because it's important that Virat Kohli concentrates, the Indian team concentrates on the job at hand, which is to win the World Cup. So let us not really continue with this story. I'm sure Virat Kohli has apologized to the media person who's affected, and I think it's important to rest this story and let us all concentrate. allow the team to concentrate on doing their job on the cricket field.
Right.
VVS, just quickly, if I might butt in, did you ever lose it? Did you ever lose it? You're such a cool guy. Did you ever lose it in the dressing room or anywhere?
Yes, Sunil, I did lose it, but within the closed doors of the dressing room, never in the public space. Probably the only time I lost it was on Pragyan Ojha in that Mohali game, and I still, people still question me why I did that.
Yes. Yes.
But can I tell you, Sunny, personal experience with VVS Laxman. 2005, I was covering the selection committee meeting, and I wrote a report saying that VVS Laxman was dropped. He gave me a call to tell me that he wasn't actually dropped, he was injured, and he had told the selection committee that he's injured, so he wasn't dropped as such by the selection committee, he wasn't available for selection. But then again, he's living up to what he's saying. It was behind closed doors. He picked up the phone, called me, no abuses at me, even though I wrote a wrong report, but just told me personally, and that report was later corrected. Saiba, you talk about pressure. There's a lot of pressure. You played, there was pressure that time too. Of course, the media wasn't there that time, but I'm sure there would have been critical pieces written about you as well. May have been sometimes personal as well, which you may not have liked. But did you ever cross the line and get personal with a media man?
No, I think I generally used to, have a go at myself in front of the mirror and take it out of my system in front of the mirror. I think that was the way that I would do it. There were of course the odd occasion on the field where there was a fielding mistake or more than a fielding mistake. Somebody was dreaming and hadn't moved to the position that I had wanted him as a captain. Then I would maybe just have had lost a little bit. But I wish I wish I could be as cool as MST or as VVS. I could have been as cool as VVS or MST. I think that would have been fantastic. Beyond Borg, for example, amazing. It's under severe pressure, but to be able to keep cool.
Okay, let's talk about you weren't as cool as VVS Laxman, as you say. We've got Brian Lara with us. We all know that he was a temperamental player as well and didn't share the greatest relationship with the media. But Brian, you too, you never made it very personal with the media. There were never any abuses flying around as far as the media is concerned. You kept yourself in check. Now that the report is out that Virat did lose his cool, there were a few abuses that were hurled at a journalist. Do you think that as a brand ambassador of the country, he should have restrained himself at that time?
Well, in the heat of the moment, you never know what could happen. But I've done countless things. Abusive language is a bit tough, but I had my run-ins with the press before, and it's never a cool situation, and it's very, very difficult to win as a sportsman because they got a pen in their hand, and they can do as they please as time goes on. I'm a West Indian, so I'm hoping that this has distracted the Indian team a bit because we are definitely under the gun and we need a victory. But Virat Kohli, it can have two effects on him. This can either derail him or it can make him more determined to perform. But I'm hoping it's the latter. But, these things happen. I think, both parties should move on. A great World Cup ahead. India's in a very, very good position. And you don't want that animosity going on. So, for the sake of the game, I think the Indian media and the Indian cricket team should patch things up as quickly as possible.
All right, sane advice there from Brian Lara. Let's listen into R. Ashwin. He came into the press conference today. He was asked this question about the relationship with the media, and this is what he had to say.
I mean, this is my take on it. I think media has got a very responsible eye of taking cricket back home in a very responsible fashion, taking cricket to the public in the way it needs to be taken. There are times when I'm not happy with that, but that's my opinion. But there are other times where you support the players, and it's very important to take the game forward.
Right, Sunny, one word on this. What Ashwin says is that media plays a very responsible role, and everyone would agree about that. But he also goes on to mention that the media should also support the team. Do you see media's role as being of supporters, or is that a fan's job and media's job is to report as they see?
I think their job is to report it as they see. And ideally, there should be no speculation. Ideally, you would want a situation where they are reporting on what has actually happened, not what they have heard, what they've seen, and maybe they have heard. It's not always that you go with what you have heard, with what you've seen. I think that will be perfect because